Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the latest edition of Lowdown Entertainment. I'm your host, Joe Adams, along with me, my partner in crime, Mr. Bear Slotcher. How you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
I am freaking fabulous. Got a pretty interesting show tonight. We have a tale of two
Tale
shows
of
this
two
evening.
stories.
It's a true story. We are going to be talking to our good buddy from BAPS Motor Speedway, Mr. Kolten Gouse, and we have him backstage right now, but we're going to pull him up momentarily. We're going to StreamYard with him for a little while. He's got all kinds of things cooking at BAPS Motor Speedway. It's going to be a very, very interesting and exciting 2026 for him. And then you have some guests coming in the studio,
I
and we're
do.
going to be talking to the France boys and see what
Yep.
they got cooking for 2026. So when
They
we're
should be
done with,
rolling in here about 6:30.
okay, when we're done with this stream, we'll end this stream and then fire back up on Facebook Live. And then I will be a call in and help you along with that particular interview as well.
I appreciate
Not a problem. I appreciate not being there with you.
that. Come
Ah,
on now.
yeah. So chat's always open for anybody that has any questions. I don't know if we have too many people on just yet. Don Allen is in the house. What's up, brother? Good to see you, my man. Don's always first.
It's good. That's good. If he's
Absolutely.
not, I'm gonna be concerned.
Yeah, we have something to worry about. Don, did you enjoy the show last night on Wide Open Wednesday? We had a good time again.
Always a good time with Nikki and Fred.
Oh man, Nick and Fred are the best.
Mostly Fred, but
Yeah, Nick's just, well, he's just Nick. But
before we get rolling here, I
yes,
would
sir.
like
Talk to me.
to just give some prayers. I'd like to get some prayers for my good friend Ronnie Dunstan.
Yes, sir. Please do.
Uh, Ronnie went to the hospital last night. We think he's doing a lot better today. Doctors got a lot of things under control, but
Yeah,
there's power in prayer, and the racing family never disappoints. So if
yeah.
you reach out, send him a message or just keep him in your thoughts. He was doing better as of this
That's
afternoon. So
great news.
yeah, he's a tough old guy.
He is a tough hombre, man, and he is an
He's out
awesome,
of
awesome
the
human being.
lives, though. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
9 lives ran out 9 lives ago.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Bo Drobot in the house. Wayne Whitmer in the house. Thanks for tuning in, gentlemen. Good to see you.
Speaking of Bo,
Yes,
Bo could
sir.
also use some prayers, man. He's all busted up too. He
Oh,
needs some.
what's going on with Bo? What's
He's
happening
got
with Bo?
some back issues. He slipped on the ice this winter, and he's all jacked up.
Not
Just
good.
never ends. This winter was brutal.
This winter sucked.
Yeah,
Totally sucked.
I think it's coming to an end here.
I hope so. I certainly do. Don says, yeah, it's always a blast on WoW. Just like your
Sure
show.
is.
Yeah, it's we have a really good time with that. I tell you what, Nick's a really good sport too. We were busting on pretty bad about Bubba Wallace last night, but he kind of earned it and deserved it, so it was all good. But hey, we have, speaking of weather changing and things like that, we moved the clocks ahead this weekend, which is a huge bonus. We get a little bit more daylight out of the deal. And
We'll take it.
warmer weather is coming. It's on its way. We need to be a little bit patient. But tell you what else is coming too, very, very quickly, and that is Leo's League, Saturday, May the 9th. So
Yep.
we have had huge success with Leo's. This will be the fourth year. Is that correct, my friend?
Yeah.
This will be the fourth year. And you probably have the car counts in your head a little bit better than I do. Every year it has gotten bigger and better with the cool cars and more. And we expect it to be even bigger this year.
Absolutely. I want to pack that field for that little guy and his
Yes.
buddies.
Yes.
And again, you do not have to stay all day. The show starts at 9.
Mhm.
It goes till 5 p.m., which is the whole event, which is a massive
Correct.
cover the grounds event.
Yes.
And the car show is from when you get there till you feel like leaving to go to your local track.
That is correct. And this is all to benefit pediatric cancer. Barry and I have been heavily involved in this since its onset. We met little Leo, like we said, 4 years ago, and he was fighting the fight. And
Yeah.
by the graces of God, he got to ring the bell. He's doing very well, but he's paying it forward and he's helping other children that are now fighting pediatric cancer. And, if you have a motorcycle, a car, a race car, anything that's cool, man, kids love
Last year,
cars.
we had utility trucks, fire trucks, dump trucks,
I was going to say
triaxles.
we had a triaxle there last year. That was
Yeah, that
Bose,
was
actually.
Bose. Yep, and
Yep.
we had lowriders, Jeeps, racing Jeeps, and it's if you want to bring your daily grocery getter, bring it.
That's fine. Yeah. There's usually several Corvettes there. There's usually a Corvette club there. A couple of motorcycles. We got asphalt cars, dirt cars. We got everything. And I tell you what, it is so cool. Now last year they didn't do it, and this year they're going to bring it back. They're going to put the capes on the kids again and let them walk around and really get up close to the cars and everything and see what's going on. Maybe let them even sit inside them and stuff like that. So it's to be there at that event, and the camaraderie of the racing community is just second to none. Plus, we have lots of food trucks. We have lots of bands. The food's top notch and amazing. It's really, really good stuff. Miss Motorsports 2026 reached out to me just a few days ago, and she is committed to come there to Leo's League this year. So Haley Gisella will be there. Looking forward to hanging out with her. Plus all of our usual suspects that we've had over the years. It's just going to be a great time.
Yep. Always good.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Got lots of people rolling in here, buddy. Tara Rochelle's in the house. Jennifer White Knight Umbenauer is in the house. Peyton Renninger is in the house.
All of our friends are here.
Speaking of Peyton Renninger is taking over the show next week on the 12th.
This is her domain next year. Next week.
Next week. Yep. Peyton's Pit Stop is going to be taking over Lowdown Entertainment. It's her show. It's going to be all about Big Diamond Speedway and some of the things and events that are going to be going on up in the Cole region. And looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to calling in and telling her she's fired, since she's been telling me that for the past 2 years. So we'll see how that works.
I'm looking forward to someone else doing the show.
Right.
Hint, everybody.
Hint. Bo says we'll be there with Hot Rod and Triaxle again. So, Bo, we appreciate you coming in. Peyton says she has 2 guests. Going to try to get another. So
nice. Sounds good.
Jennifer says she's hired for sure. So there you have it. There you have it. No, we appreciate everybody tuning in. Really looking forward to talking with Kolten here. I have been, and Barry will tell you, I talk about BAPS a lot. I just don't get there very often. It's just because it's so far away from me. But I am so blown away with all the things that go on out there at that facility. And I think we're going to bring Kolten in now. We're going to have a little chat with him and see what's going on.
I think if you like it so much, you should move closer.
So I'm further away from you?
Yes, exactly.
See, that works out. I see where you're going with that. Yeah. Every day you invent new ways to be an asshole, and I appreciate that.
I know.
I really do. So let's bring on Kolten right now and see what's going on.
Sounds good.
Kolten Gouse, welcome to the program. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. I appreciate you guys having me a part of the show tonight.
Oh my God, we are so happy to have you here. I don't even know where to begin. You have so much stuff going on out there. Apparently you don't sleep ever. Your mind never stops working. And you got a race coming up on Saturday. You have your season opener this Saturday.
Yeah, we're kind of playing catch up a little bit here. That the weather's just hasn't been the greatest out here in Central PA. It's been a little bit of a challenge, and but we'll be ready for Saturday. I got a good group of guys here that we'll do whatever we got to do to make sure we're ready. We just need Mother Nature to give us a fair shake on Saturday, and hopefully we can start the season off and get a good step forward for the year and just kind of go as we go.
Right. Who do you have on the card for Saturday?
So Saturday we kind of have our 2 normal divisions that we typically run here. Super Sportsman late models. We do have the Legend cars here. They've been part of the season opener here probably for the last 7 or 8 years. So Good group of divisions here, and then we have an open practice afterwards that's open any divisions. So,
Oh, nice, very nice.
We'll do that. An hour or two or so after the races. We'll see how many cars we get, but just we'll be ready to go, and then we'll open up the micro track here in a couple weeks, and then we'll really be cranking.
Yeah, and I've really been following the micro track, the McGrewbid Autoplex you have back there on the premises. The amount of work that you guys have put into that thing in the last, it's only been in existence for this is its third season, correct?
Yeah, this will be year 3. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you guys are just crushing it, doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, there's definitely been a learning process with the micro track. When we were working on doing it legit, when I say legit, when we got approved from the township and to start doing all that, I think that was going into the 2024 season.
Okay.
We kind of had a roadblock, and we had 1 or 2 neighbors that just didn't really want us to do it. And, luckily we had a good amount of people behind us in the community and kind of let us get going. But we basically got the green to do that, and we built a racetrack in 6 weeks. And
I remember you guys were really under the gun because you had to be ready for Speed Week.
We had Hyper Speed Week, and unfortunately, when we rushed, we didn't get our banking 100% right. We basically rushed to open.
Yeah.
And the last 2 years we've been kind of fighting to just really know where we need to be. Last year, our races got better. We were second groove, third groove, and it was getting better. But this off season, we basically changed the banking a lot, about 30 inches in the corners.
Oh, wow.
And we have about 15 degrees getting into turn 3 and turn 1. So it's way different. Hopefully I think we're making the right strides to get there.
Right.
The one thing, and I've preached this to the racers that come there and support us weekly is, listen, we know we're not going to be 100% right. But we're listening to what people have to say, and we're trying to make the adjustments as we go. The last thing I want to do is have a rough racetrack for the micro guys. You know what I mean? So, when we were transitioning some of this banking, we had to do little things at a time because I didn't want to alienate cars by being too rough. You know what I mean? And luckily, we never really had that roughness at all the last 2.5 years. It's been pretty good, but ultimately it's, I hope this is, obviously having a new racetrack in the area, the first one in 30 years is cool.
Yeah.
But I really hope this is a racetrack that we can build the next generation, the junior sprint guys. There's a lot of people around us that are building cars for the first time that are getting into racing. So, we certainly don't want to put any racetrack out of business. We want to supply additional cars to kind of feed the whole racing industry. So, and we're starting to build our own group of guys here, and it's cool. It's a total different deal than the Saturday night racetrack stuff.
I'm sure.
But it is really cool to see the kids, and especially some of them that are growing up and making the transition to the big track. That's kind of cool. I mean, I guess that means I'm getting old because now I see that transition. But it's really cool. It's definitely been a very cool process that I am very fortunate to be a part of.
You brought up a really, really valid point, Kolten, because not only have you, I'm interrupting myself here. How long have you been a general manager there at BAPS Speedway?
This will be year 11.
Wow. So you got some time under your belt there. I didn't realize.
I know. My staff jokes with me because I'm 36 and I'm starting to get gray now. So I try to cover that up. Everybody tells me that the racers are starting to make me go gray finally.
Oh yeah, it'll happen. Definitely. But for 11 years, you've been building the big track, and then you take on another. It's like you said, you brought in a new track, which is totally unprecedented and just unheard of in today's times. So you're building and maintaining the big track that you already have, plus you're building a whole new deal back there. That is some very aggressive, forward-thinking stuff, and we as race fans and the racers really appreciate it. Seriously, and we love the effort. We really do.
Well, a lot of it starts with, Scott Gobrick, our owner, of just wanting to continue to push this place to grow. Some people can be very content and just, hey, this is what we're doing and that's it. And, he wants this place to succeed and grow and contribute to racing. And, I enjoy it and I love it. And, to be able to, build a racetrack and, it was hard. There's no doubt about it. There was a lot of money, a lot of hard effort, but there is no secret that, that racetrack would not have gotten built back there if it wasn't for our community relations that we have and what we've established.
That is awesome.
With the township and the police and the fire and the school. One of the coolest things, just to kind of give you, I'm going to kind of go backwards a little bit to go forward here with the micro track, but we've been really involved with our elementary school down the road here for the last 4 or 5 years. We do 2 events there a year. One of them's a full profit event for the school. And then the other year, we donate book bags and school supplies to all the kids.
That is so cool.
And when we were in the middle of this, I'll call battle with building this racetrack, we had to go to an open public hearing in front of the community. It was completely open. And I was a little worried because I thought, man, we're going to get all the people that live 10 miles from here that say they hate the racetrack.
Right.
And we're going to open up a can of worms.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the case. But we had a little 8-year-old that showed up to this township meeting with his parents that had this Racing in the Reading shirt that we give them every year. And he spoke to the township of why it was important for them to allow us to build this new racetrack.
At 8 years old?
Yes.
Awesome.
Oh, my Lord. That's awesome.
And it was the coolest thing because I thought to myself, out of all the people that were here, there's a kid that truly appreciates what we do at his elementary school. And he comes here and watches the races with his parents. And he wanted to come to that.
Wow.
And, that to me still, speaks volumes of, and I try to instill this to our employees is, at the end of the day, yes, we're a business. We're here to make money.
Right.
But the reality of it is, we want people to leave here happy. We want people to feel that they saw, got their money's worth, whether it's race teams or fans or whatever.
Right.
But at the end of the day, this place can leave an imprint on somebody.
Yeah.
And that imprint on that kid is so important. And, I try to tell our staff, that there's a perfect example of, when you're nice to these people, when you treat our customers well and you interact with them, you just never know who you're going to touch out there. And, to me, that was really cool seeing that kid come up there for that meeting. I'm not saying that's what put us over of building a racetrack, but it was very special and heartwarming that, the racetrack meant so much to him.
Certainly a fantastic spokesperson.
That's incredible.
Sure. Yeah. Wow. That was an awesome story. Thank you for sharing that. Jennifer and I just said, that's amazing. That's great stuff. I do have some stuff gathering up in the chat here, but Barry, I interrupted you a little bit ago and I apologize for that. I'll let you go on that.
Yeah. I had a couple of things. First, I want to back up to, how did you become general manager? You're on the road with the World of Outlaws, and suddenly you're taking over BAPS.
Yeah, it was kind of a interesting phone call. I was actually in. I still remember like it was yesterday. I was actually in Minot, North Dakota, and we were getting ready to cross over into Canada to go race Edmonton Castrol Raceway, and Scott Gobrick gave me a call, and I mean I've known him and his family for years and stuff, so it wasn't like a oh what do they want, it was kind of like Scott's calling, and he told me that he was in the process of purchasing what was Susquehanna Speedway, and asked if I had any interest of, maybe coming off the road and doing this. And not that I was planning on coming off the road. I was working on, whatever it was, year 8.5 out there on the road, and enjoyed what I did, and, never changed race teams. I was always with the same race team. And, me and Casey's brother, Cale Kane, were very close, like brothers. And so I was never planning on leaving, and went into Edmonton. And my cousin Austin actually was on the road with me at the time, and kind of told him about it. We just talked, and I said, if I don't do this, I'm probably never going to get an opportunity to be a general manager or a promoter at a racetrack,
right?
At least at that racetrack. It's not like the doors are opening up every day at a racetrack.
Correct.
So I said, if I don't take it, am I going to sit back in 10 years and go, man, I wish I would have took that?
Mm-hmm.
And then the second part was, if I do take it and it doesn't work out, I can always go back on the road.
True.
Or whatever else. So, I got out of Canada. Actually, my girlfriend at the time, she actually flew into Seattle, Washington, and we talked about it. And I ended up talking to Scott a couple more times there, and basically started putting kind of the nuts and bolts together of doing this. And I came out of California and told the guys that I'm going and doing this. So, at some point the cat's going to come out of the bag here. So I might as well tell you this is what we're doing. And then, came back here, and Todd Fisher was very helpful and great in showing me stuff around here. And, the transition part was great. With his help with me of, kind of showing me the inner workings here at the Speedway. But there's no secret at all that, I certainly have made mistakes along the road. It's a learning process.
Sure.
You think how things are supposed to be, and they're not. And you might think as a racer, and, that was a challenge first year, couple years was, you're thinking as a racer, but you got to run this as a business.
Yeah.
And it's tough. And don't get me wrong, 11 years later, I'm still learning, still trying to see what's out there and see what other people are doing. And it is certainly, it's a tough job, because you can't please everybody.
No, it's
and
impossible.
it is hard. But, overall, it's like I tell everybody, if you're a school teacher, you're going to have your good days and your bad days. But your good days outweigh your bad days, or you wouldn't be a school teacher for 20 or 30 years. And the racetrack is the same thing. Mm-hmm. Is there's good days and there's bad days. But, ultimately, your workers, your sponsors, your relationships with the people, the neighbors, and all that stuff, it outweighs the bad times that, you may encounter as running a racetrack. So, and it's like a box of chocolates. You just never know what you're going to get each week. So it definitely keeps you on your toes.
That is
okay. Awesome. Good answer. And the second part of that was, you mentioned your customers, your fans are your customers. You want them to leave happy. Tell our fans about your guarantee this season. You got one race night where you're guaranteeing they get out by, is it 9 p.m.?
9 o'clock, yeah.
It's the nuttiest thing I ever heard. But when you explained it at EMPA, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, so just for anybody that doesn't know about it, so, typically that race weekend has been against the World of Outlaws at Williams Grove. And it has just been a weekend that historically it is tough to make money, because the World of Outlaws come in one time a year.
Yeah.
Fans want to go see it. It's just how it is. Well, this year, high limits at Port Royal against that weekend. So it's kind of the same thing. You got a traveling group that comes in handful of times a year. People want to go see them. So, sitting there in this off season, it was like, man, how can we do something different to just generate some type of excitement to give us a fighting chance of doing something? Mm-hmm. And I'll be honest. Where I got the idea, I was watching TV and Domino's. We were doing a show on the Domino's brothers, and they were struggling. And one of the brothers came up with the idea of, we're going to guarantee a pizza delivery in 30 minutes or it's free. And I thought, man, that is such an interesting idea. How can we do that? And first thing I thought, well, we're not making pizzas at the racetrack, so concessions probably aren't going to work. So I did some numbers and did some different things, and then me and Scott were in Charlotte and for the World Finals, and I said I have a really off the wall, nuts, crazy idea, but I said I think it can work. And I told him, I said, we'll run 3 divisions, start heat races at 7. And if we get all features done by 9, that's great. But if it's 9:05, 9:10, 9:15, 9:20, whoever's in those grandstands, they get a free admission to next week.
Wow.
So we missed the window.
Yeah.
And what I'm hoping our race fans, our race team, grabs a new fan, grabs somebody maybe it's on the fence, and comes out there. And if our attendance doubles that night and we miss it, we're a lot farther along than what we've been the last couple of weeks.
Still a home run. Yeah,
it's a home run.
Still a home run.
But ultimately, I want it to be a talking point. I want people to know, hey, we come to the races. If we get done by 9, we can go in the pits. We can be home at 10, 10:30.
Yep.
If it is 9:30, we're still getting out of there early, but we get to come there for free. And then after the race, that whole week leading up, when you're talking to your buddies at the garage or at work, and they say, hey, where are you going this week? Well, I'm going back to BAPS. I got a free ticket.
Got to go.
What other track is allowing that? It's a talking piece, and it's excitement. It's generating interest, and that's what our sport needs is talking pieces, interest.
100% agree.
As a fan, there is no lose on this promotion.
No.
Nope.
I'm either getting you out at 9 or you're coming back next week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My staff thinks we're crazy, but I'm confident we can do it. If we get a fair shake with weather and, no rain, and we can start on time and do what we can do,
right.
I think we can do it. But, it's much like I've told some of our guys. I said, listen, if we can't do it, it's not a failure. The failure is doing the same thing over and over that we've been doing and expecting a different result.
Yes.
This, if we don't get done at 9 o'clock, it's not a failure. It's hey, we still got done early, and those people are leaving here happy no matter what.
It's one hell of a promotional tool.
Absolutely right.
And I love your forward thinking because, my partner Bear here, myself, and our good buddy Fred Fletcher and Nikki Leach that do their own show. Us 4 have talked about this many times. What do we need to do to get new fans into the seats? Because you go to these different tracks, these different venues, and I don't care where you go. If you've been a long-standing fan, you see the same faces watching the same cars doing the same thing week after week. We need to get new butts in the seats, and this is a fantastic way to do that because, number one, people love free stuff, and if you, quote-unquote, fail with the time restraint, like you said, I got a free ticket, man. You got to go check this place out. This place is awesome. It's unbelievable. Food's great. There's not a bad seat in the house. Bring a friend. We have one of our helpers on Lowdown Entertainment a couple of years ago, Rich Reinhardt, used to end the show every time with take a friend to the races. And that's what people need to do. They really, truly do. And I just love the forward thinking. It's very aggressive, but it's so forward thinking. And we need to start thinking outside the box to make motorsports get into the future and be profitable.
I'll take it a step further. I know a lot of people rag on NASCAR and NHRA and the IRL and all that stuff, but the reality of it is it's not watching cars go around the racetrack anymore.
No, There's very little to do with that.
You look at the F1 race in Miami and Las Vegas. It's not watching cars go around.
No.
There's bands, there's activities, there's autographs.
Yeah,
it's an event. Literally an event. Every event is an event. And
I refer to that as value-added selling. You know you're going to see a race, but all the other stuff is the value-added selling. And that's and racing could learn a lot from minor league baseball, because minor league baseball has been using value-added selling for many, many years.
Well, and it's not just that. It's every major sport.
Mm-hmm.
The Phillies, NFL, anything. It is limiting time, and what are you getting besides what you're watching on the field?
Correct.
Yep.
There's no secret. Everybody can rag NASCAR and all these other facilities, but how many dirt sprint car races or dirt late model races do you pay $90 to go watch a race?
Right.
And the place is packed.
Right.
Well, if you go to the Philadelphia Stadium, it's $90 a ticket.
Indeed.
And there's 60, 100,000 people there.
Yep.
And they're spending money like it's going out of style.
And it's even $40 to park.
But there's so much to do than just watch the game.
Correct.
You're tailgating. Everything is, the merchandise, the stores. Everything is all about entertaining the person there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I think now. Does that mean, okay, well, dirt tracks, you need to start doing this, and this, and this, and this? No, but I think the thing of just running the same divisions and doing the same thing, just racing.
Mm-hmm.
That's not appealing to the younger people, much like it did my age group or people older than me. You know what I mean? It's just the younger generation, they're all about experience.
Mm-hmm.
What experience are they going to have at the racetrack?
Yeah.
And, I think sometimes, the dirt track racing deal, we take a lot of things for granted. The NFL, you can't walk up to a quarterback and get an autograph.
Nope.
Yeah. Right.
You get a pit pass and you can walk up to any driver you want. You know what I mean?
True.
Sometimes I think we take things a little for granted of actually how close we are with what I would consider the athletes, or where we can watch or stand and be as close to a car that's going 140 miles an hour.
Yeah.
But in the same sense, if you brought somebody new to the races and showed them all that stuff, their mind would be blown to really what goes on. You know what I mean? And that's where I hope, some of the things that we're doing as far as thinking outside of the box, bring some new people to experience how cool our sport really is. I take things for granted because, I'm here every day and every week, but, there's some people that can't afford to go to the pits. There's some people that can't afford to go every week. And, those are the ones that, I think sometimes we forget about.
Mm-hmm. But you're right. You touched upon something that a lot of us do take for granted, and the light bulb went off in my head when you said it. The accessibility we have to our drivers is truly amazing. That we could just go up after the races and shake their hand, get an autograph, swap stories. We meet their families and their friends. It really is a pretty cool, and that's what I think what makes racing such a close-knit community too. It's pretty awesome. Very
Absolutely.
Good thinking on your part. There is a few things in chat here, Kolten, I wanted to address. We had some things sitting on here. Let's see here. Kind of lost my way here for a second. Excuse me. Here's one right here. Kolten, why only 3 602 crate races this year? I thought BAPS was going to have more crate racing this year. That's from our friend Peyton Renninger.
Yeah, absolutely. So, so obviously we didn't know New Egypt was closing or kind of shuttering their doors. I know they might open up or they might do something here. I saw something in Ariado, but our schedule was basically 95% done when that came out.
Yeah.
If I would have known that, we probably would have did some things a little bit differently.
Right.
But really what changed was, obviously there's a new 410 sprint car series in the area, or the 410 sprint series.
Yes.
And, Lincoln gave up some dates. Port Royal gave up some dates. BAPS gave up some dates. And really what it came down to was there were some divisions that we kind of had to cut some races to give some of our main divisions the races that they needed. So, when I say main divisions, super sportsmen, late models, and extreme stocks, they're kind of our 3-division bread and butter here.
Mm-hmm.
So, the 602s kind of lost, I think it was 2 or 3 races. The legend cars went down on a couple races. We lost East Coast 360 wingless sprint cars. They lost their race. So, it wasn't that we were picking on one division. It was trying to, if we're going to dial back some races, we got to make sure our 3 divisions where we're selling the most, sponsors, suites, tickets for those 3 divisions, we got to keep a certain amount of races on for them and then kind of fill in around there. So it was certainly tough and hard, to tell some of these people that we were cutting races, like the USAC 360s, they had a great car count here. They had a great, well-run race, and they were hoping to add more races. And I had to tell them, like, well, we don't even have one. You know what I mean? And that was tough. The other thing is some of our nights, we, cutting some divisions. We have a couple races this year where it's just 3 divisions. Like June 20th, the night that we're doing not features done by 9, only 3 divisions. So we kind of trimmed some races a little bit there, but it's certainly tough. I wish we had more weeks in the year to race. And I'll be honest, there was a couple Saturdays that we lost this year because of the micro track. We open up this Saturday at the big track, but then we're dark the March 14th because we have practice back here on Saturday. And then March 28th, which was a race at BAPS last year, is a micro race. So really, we lost 2 races to air to the micro track too. So very loaded question. I appreciate it. It's definitely tough. But we're certainly not getting rid of them or anything like that, or the other modified races. I love them. I wish we could run more. It certainly is tough, with Grandview, running on Saturday nights and trying to compete against each other.
Yeah. Is that one of the most difficult things as far as trying to get a schedule together? I mean, you got to work and look at everybody else's deal going on. It's got to be a handful.
It is. It's tough, because you racing against each other, nobody wins.
Correct.
You split the car counts, you split the fans. It is tough because we might lay down for, Lincoln or whatever, but then, Path Valley is booking something or Hagerstown. So then it's like, I think here on a given night in the limited late model division, we usually have 4 tracks within 2 hours running limited late models.
Wow.
And that's our second main class, between us, Selinsgrove, Port, and Hagerstown. It is tough, and it's hard. It's just hard all around. It's tough.
Trust me, we don't envy you because we know it is not an easy job. Curious to know from your own perspective, what in the 11 years of you being a GM there, what is the one thing that you're most proud of that you have accomplished there?
Man, I don't know. I said this to somebody the other day. They asked me how it was, winning the Northeast Promoter of the Year award, and I said,
yes, congratulations, by the way.
I appreciate that, and I said, I don't think about, if I work 20 hours harder this week, I'll get that award or something else. Like I just work. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I don't know if there's one thing that's I'm just excited of how the whole transition is gone. Now, if I had to pick one thing, when we built suites here on the front stretch, there's 7 of them here. Rich Eichelberger, that owns Low Bar Incorporated, he built them. And when we were working through the whole phase of that, I said, the one thing I said, I'm going to kind of complicate some things here, but I said, every nut and bolt or piece that goes into these suites, I want it to be from somebody that sponsors racing.
Oh my God, I love
Nice. Very
So
nice.
Oh man.
it made the process 10 times harder, 10 times longer.
Yeah.
But I can physically say that every piece that is in that suite, from the crane to the windows to the flooring, is somebody that either owns or sponsors a race car.
See, that's
And
the way, man. That
and
is
my whole
awesome.
thing about it was, like I told Rich, was because he was kind of like, oh man. I mean, he appreciated it, but he's like, man, you just made it 10 times harder.
Right.
And I said, but I said, we rely on these people to spend money on race cars
Right.
and billboards at a racetrack and all that stuff.
Right.
I said, it makes no sense for me to spend money with somebody that doesn't care about racing.
Exactly.
I said, I'd rather the window company be somebody in racing, not somebody that's 2 hours from here.
Right.
That doesn't care. You know what I mean? So I would say that's probably the most meaningful thing that everybody that was involved in racing business wise got to touch that.
Man, I tell you what, that's a standing O right there, brother. That is top tier stuff right there. Wayne Whitmer in the house there, he says that's awesome. Totally agree. That is, again, just forward thinking and just really utilizing your brain and the resources that you have at you. And it's just, I'm just blown away by everything that you've been doing. It's just unbelievable to me.
Well, you gotta, here's the other thing. You have to have a good team.
Absolutely.
Just because my name is on, the card with the general manager, or, Kolten's the promoter down there, or, award or whatever. I'm just one person. You know what I mean? I might have some crazy ideas in my head, but ultimately, I have a really good team of people that just buy in.
Mm-hmm.
They understand what we're trying to do. They want to be a part of it, and they really help it go. And some of them probably don't get the credit that they deserve.
Mm-hmm.
But, from my fire guys to my pit stewards to, our social media person to Becky in the office, I mean, everybody just works so hard.
Yeah.
And they do it because they love it. They do it because they enjoy being around a lot of these people. And that's what makes this place go, is the community, the sponsors, the neighbors, and all that stuff. It's not me. You know what I mean? I'm the guy that's gets some of the credit, but it overall, if I didn't have the group of people that I had, we wouldn't be able to do 3/4 of this stuff.
Absolutely amazing.
It's a team, and
that's right.
Again, it starts with Scott as an owner. He has forward thinking of, wanting to see this place be successful, and he enjoys coming here. His mom works here every Saturday in the office, and, they've pushed this thing, and, it's a team. It really is. And it's, it's hard to keep good people and wanting the people to stay in it and keep going each year. It's hard.
Right. It's amazing. While we're on the subject, do you still have sponsorship signage or anything available for 2026? Can people still hop on board? And
we always
how can they do that?
Okay. We love bringing new people in.
Yeah.
No, I mean, we do, much like anything else, we have different opportunities here for businesses. We have businesses that are one-man guys to, corporations that have 200 or 300 employees. So I always tell people, certainly don't be afraid of advertising at a speedway. We will build something for what your needs are and what you want to spend. So, we certainly will not turn people down.
Right.
We'll find a way to make it work for them. And I think there's also race teams that are out there that are the same way, that, will tailor make something to work.
Yeah.
We're always open for business for sure.
Yeah. So if you want to get involved at BAPS Motor Speedway, and obviously they are very budget friendly, reach out to the BAPS Motor Speedway team and get some information, and hopefully they can work out a deal for you and maybe get some signage or just some sort of promotional ordeals. Do you have nightly sponsorships? Do you break some of those?
Oh yeah. Yep. We have nightly stuff. We have billboards. We have video board here in the courtyard. We have one in the infield. We do stuff that's not just racing. I mean, we're very I would say we are a multi-purpose venue. We do other events here that are not just racing. We have a carnival here. We have National Night Out, which is a huge township event, Lantern Fest. So, we do other things that are not just racing related too. So a lot of different eyeballs come through here. And ultimately the goal is we try to meet somebody new that wants to get their fix with racing.
That is so cool. That is so cool.
I mean, hopefully we'll get you guys to come out here and see this at some point.
Yeah, we definitely have to. It's been a long time since I've been to your facility. Again,
it's been a while for sure.
It's just a distance thing for me. I mean, I absolutely love coming there. It's amazing. I was there not this past season, the season before. I caught a Sunday afternoon sprint car show. It was fantastic. Great racing. Anthony McGrewbid happened to win that day, and great stuff. And modifieds were there too, so it was a lot of fun. So I got to see
those probably in the springtime.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. We and that's the thing is, it's I got asked this the other day. They said, "What's your favorite event here?" They said it's got to be sprint cars because you're a sprint car guy. And I said, "No." I said, "I just want to see a good race.
Right.
If it's a good race, I know everybody's leaving here happy. So I don't care who wins." But we just have so many good divisions that put on good racing here. Modifieds put on good racing.
Yeah.
The sportsmen, sprint cars. We have so many different good events. We have Lucas Oil late models coming here for the first time this year, which is going to be really cool.
That's going to be awesome.
Speed Week. The features done by 9. We have a cool event in October we do with the kids and trick or treating with the drivers. There's just so many different things. The $5 sprint car race that we're doing. It's hard to pick out one thing and say, man, that's the event you got to go to, because I don't, it's kind of like Grandview. I love going to Grandview, even though it's an hour and a half from me.
Yeah.
And I only get there maybe 3 times a year, but every time I'm there, I see a good race.
Yeah.
And I leave there and I'm like, God, I love going to this place. I hate to drive home. Home, but I truly enjoy going there to watch. It doesn't matter if it's sprint cars or modifieds. I enjoy going there. And I feel like, our place races well with all divisions.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you're always going to see a barn burner.
Right.
But, the legend cars or whatever, we're just kind of perfectly shaped that it offers good racing in all divisions.
Right.
And it's hard to pick an event because, as long as you leave happy, it really doesn't matter what division you saw.
That's right. Win-win all the way around. Just absolutely. Yeah. Like you said, the hour and a half, I'm in the Grandview area. So you understand my plight as far as getting out to see you. So the struggle is very real, but absolutely amazing. Yeah. Just really looking forward to getting back out there again. And I'm a huge 600 micro fan. And it's been my opinion. I've expressed this many times on the show that besides High Limit, I do think 600 wingless micro racing is probably one of the best products out there right now.
It's definitely growing. There's no doubt about it.
It's just amazing the amount of talent that's coming through. And now with these junior sprint cars, which are going to be featuring them as well, it's just going to be a cast of characters and just a whole cast of talent that's going to be coming up through. It's just going to be absolutely amazing over the next few years. It really is. Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely you look at the Tulsa shootout.
Yeah.
You have 2,000 cars or whatever it is. I mean, there is definitely money, funding, hungriness of these micro drivers to drive around the country to these KKM races.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, if you have a 600, I mean, I haven't put all the micro schedules together yet, but I would argue you could probably race 3 nights a week.
Yes, easily.
Yes,
between Kutztown, us or Linda's on Friday. You have Lanco and a cast of other racetracks on Saturday. You have Pagoda now. I mean, really, it is crazy how much racing there is to do in the wingless 600s from where they were 20 years ago. When I raced micros when I was 15 and 16 at Linda's, 600s were kind of nobody's in a way. I mean, two seventies.
Well.
270s ran the the area.
Correct.
And it's just crazy that within 20 years how things have changed and how many cars there are and how many people are in the micro world, and more importantly how many people are willing to travel.
Yes,
that to me is the probably the craziest thing is some of these guys, when I look at the results, I mean, they're running 3 or 4 times a week, and I don't know how they're doing it with crew guys and getting off work, but they're willing to do that, and that's it's good for our sport. It really is.
Absolutely.
And I know here since we've had the micro track, and I know we haven't gotten all the micro drivers to come race with us, but it is amazing the talent level. And more importantly, the talent level from the younger guys.
Yes,
when I say younger guys, I'm talking 15, 16 and under.
Yes, sir.
It is. When I say alarming, not in a bad way. I'm saying alarming, and it is incredible that 16 and younger are out here winning races. And when I say competitive, when you can watch them methodically think in their mind of how they're going to set up somebody to slide and move around on a racetrack and make passes, and knowing that they don't even have a driver's license.
Yeah, I immediately think of Gunnar Pio.
That is what I enjoy watching at the micro track is especially the junior sprint. So there's a handful of kids, that Jax Whitmer, that, I'm watching a 9-year-old, and it's like, all right, buddy, you got to go to the top here. You got to get a run here so you can make that move down in 3 and 4. And they do it, and you're like, man, that kid's 8 years old making that decision. You know what I mean? And that's very cool to see.
To have that much awareness is pretty amazing.
Yes.
Kolten, has anybody won on both tracks yet?
At BAPS and McGrew?
Yeah.
So no, not yet. Now
it's coming.
It's coming. I know, the Trevor Gatch kid, I mean, he won in both divisions, winged and wingless. He's going 305 racing this year. I know he's going to run some 305 races here in Central PA come summertime. So I would say he has the best shot right now of just being out there.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it is cool watching the micros back there. I mean, it'll
be really exciting the first time that happens. That person, kid, whatever, is going to be really elated to announce that.
That's huge. Yeah. In the history books forever, for sure. It's amazing.
And that's where I would encourage people to go out to some of these micro tracks and even quarter midget tracks, even if you don't even know the kids. It, like you said, it is pretty interesting and cool to see how some of these kids are progressing as quick as they are from 25 years ago. 25, 30 years ago, Fred Raymer and these guys, they started racing when they were 18, 20 years old. Well, now that's old.
Yeah, now you're out of it.
I mean, so it is very cool. And we got a good group of guys that are coming up. It'll be interesting to see where their careers go. Obviously some of them will maybe stay in 600s forever. Maybe some of them will get the shot to move on.
Right.
Or maybe you'll get somebody like Briggs Danner who just kind of runs micros and doesn't really stay in the area long, just goes USAC racing. It'll be very cool to see this next transition of people go. And I will say that is one cool thing about being a part of a racetrack and running a racetrack and seeing these guys come up through the divisions and move on to the next one, or, trying to go to the next level and seeing, the effort and everything that's being put into it. It is really cool to see how some of these guys progress in their careers.
Yes. Agreed. A couple things I want you to touch upon. One, if you could just put out all your information again for your opener this Saturday. And number 2, you briefly talked about a $5 sprint car night. I'm very curious about that. If you could just elaborate on that for myself and the fans.
Yeah. So our opener is this Saturday, March 7th, Super Sportsman, Late Models, Legends, 3 p.m. racing. And then in a couple weeks, 2 weeks, we have a practice at the micro track, and then McGrewbid opens on Saturday, March 28th with wing 600s, wingless, junior sprints, and PA micro midgets. So 2 really cool openers coming up, 2 different tracks. So it'll definitely be cool to see both of them and kind of see where some of these teams left off from last year and see which ones have taken it up a notch. And then the second question there was the $5 sprint car race that we're doing on Sunday, June 7th. That is first time in 50 years in Central PA that a 410 sprint car race is $5 to get in for general admission. The last person that did that was Jack Gunn. I believe at Williams Grove or Selinsgrove, somewhere in there. So 2-division show, 410s, extreme stocks. It'll be a quick show. We got a lot of things planned. We'll have a band during the day. We'll have a huge autograph session with a bunch of drivers. The whole premise of this event is, bring new fans. It's I can set a banner up in any city with really cool photos and pictures and action shots. And if somebody's never been to a race, sees that and goes to any racetrack's website and sees that, man, a family of 4, it might cost me $60 to go try that. Right. That's not counting food or driving.
Yeah.
How many of them don't go?
Right.
Well, a $5 sprint car race, family of 4, that's $20. It's a whole lot easier to pull a 20 out.
Indeed it is.
But more importantly, I hope people bring new fans, bring their neighbors, bring maybe their wives that haven't been out. And I hope somebody's sitting in the grandstands that never been to a race and they hear somebody talk about Williams Grove and they go, well, what's Williams Grove? Well, that's a track 20 minutes down the road that races on Friday nights.
Right.
That's what our sport needs. We need to get younger. We need to get new fans in here.
Agreed.
And, I hope that this race, I will say it's going to be the most people it's ever been here.
That is so cool, though.
I can tell you that. I have a photo of the very first sprint car, or the very first race ever took place here in 1954. There's only 2 other ones that exist. One of them Donnie Bricker has, and the other one's at Eastern Museum Motor Racing. And it's an aerial shot. And the place is packed. All the roads, there's cars. And, hopefully we get nice weather and we can duplicate that. But I hope everybody comes out and participates in it. And I'll tell you why. As I'm kind of getting older here, I look back at things that stick in my head. Mm-hmm. And I was at the race when Fred Raymer started 24th at Lincoln in Al Hamilton's car. And he won that night and took a $15,000 bounty. I remember that.
Nice.
That was 99. There's some things I can't remember last week, but I remember that.
Right.
It's something that stayed with me. I'll forever remember that. Mm-hmm. And that's where I hope this event is the same thing. We had a couple weeks ago, I put a release out of some of the fans talking about, how they view this $5 race. Mm-hmm. And there was one gentleman that stood out to me when he first heard about, and I'm going to butcher this, but I'll get it out. He told his dad that there was a $5 sprint car race. His dad's 80 years old, haven't been to the races in 20 years. He's bringing his dad to that event. His dad was at the last $5 race at Williams Grove or Selinsgrove.
Wow.
And the quote, the gentleman says, he goes, I get to share a memory with my dad that we've both been at a $5 sprint car race.
Yes.
50 years apart. And amazing. To me, that is a cool memory.
Absolutely.
And that's where I hope people, it's going to be tough with parking,
sure,
and all that stuff, but I hope people come out and they bring their wives, their friends, and all that stuff. And 20 years from now, they go, do you remember that race that
that's right.
BAPS Susquehanna, there was jammed, and we brought Billy here, and he's never been here before, and he got crazy drunk, couldn't find his car. But those are the stories that people love talking about.
Absolutely.
So, that's where that's where I hope people come out, support it, and more importantly, bring somebody that's never been to a race.
Yeah.
Agreed. 100%. I tell you what we have to do. I cannot believe it. It's actually 7:01. So what we're going to do is, if you can hang tight here for a second, we need another hour with you, Kolten. Seriously. We need to pay some bills right now. So Barry wouldn't mind taking over the microphone there to thank our sponsors. And we're going to close out the show here momentarily.
Yeah, obviously none of this could be possible without our sponsors, like Yaco's Hot Dogs. France family is in the house here. We have Smith Fabrication, Arner Furniture and Appliance, Laney Lick Racing, Elliott's Trailers and Carts, S&D Bodyline, Drips Detailing. These are our primary sponsor for the Young Lions we got going on, the Young Lions contest. Roselli Racing, like you said earlier, Kolten, people travel all over the place. Roselli's getting ready to head out to California for a micro race here in a few weeks. Yeah, we couldn't do without our sponsors.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. A couple people in chat here. Kathy Green says hello. Danielle, I saw Danielle popped in here to say hi a little bit earlier. Big Dan Lane's in the house. Don Allen says good luck this year, Kolten. Kolten, I just met you. You are a class act, my friend. I'm glad I got to know you. I love everything that you're doing out there at your facility. Keep up the good work. You have an open invitation to come on here anytime. Anytime you want to promote anything or push anything, man, please reach out to us again. And I really wish we had more time, because you're an excellent interview.
Oh, I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys, even asking me to be on the show and all that stuff. I appreciate, I love doing stuff like this. Anytime that you can, help spread the word to race fans and people, and kind of tell, what's going on behind the scenes, I think is important. It's customer service. And so I appreciate you guys asking me on, and appreciate you guys doing this for racing. You guys put in a lot of time and effort too.
Thank you.
Prepping. And so I appreciate you guys doing that. But yeah, hopefully we can have you guys out to the Speedway, and good luck to everybody that was on here on the chat and all that stuff. And more importantly, make sure you support your local racetrack.
Hey, Kolten, if you want those aerial shots, I'd be more than willing to bring my drone out and get them for you.
I will. I'll take you up on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bring them out.
We need to make a road trip, Barry. We definitely got to head to BAPS. Absolutely. Well, listen, we're going to stop this stream right here. We're going to end this one. And in a few minutes, we're going to restart another stream on Lowdown Entertainment with the France boys. Kolten, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody in chat. We appreciate everybody tuning in. Thank you so much for all your interaction in the chat and everything. So for now, and in just a few minutes, we'll be back. But for now, good night and God bless. We'll talk to you all soon.